Okay, so in a previous video, I made for beginners, showing beginners like basic concepts about the game and how to play. I mentioned that I wouldn't buy grenades if you were a beginner and didn't understand how to use them. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through the grenades. This video is going to be focused on the smoke grenade, but I will go through the other grenades in videos that are coming soon. So first I'm going to go through how to use smoke grenades on T side, because I think that's the easiest way. Um, CT side is a little bit more, well, a little harder, I guess. Or a little bit more to think about. Maybe not harder, but a little bit more to think about. So for T side, what you want to do is you want to be aware of where you think the CTs are. So for example, on B site, you can have a guy maybe here, or maybe on the site, and you'll probably have a guy either CT or in heaven. Now smokes are good for just straight up blocking people off and taking them out of the fight. So the best smokes to throw on this site, for example, would be one on heaven and one in CT. Now, the reason you put smokes down is not only so that people can't see through them, but also if someone pushes that smoke, you're going to see them before they can see you, and therefore you get a huge advantage. You can shoot them, you can kill them. So yeah, people shouldn't be pushing smokes. Just bear in mind the lower rank you are, the more likely they are to push the smoke. But if you watch the smoke, then them pushing it is just suicide. So yeah, you want to be smoking here and there. Um, the guy on site, I wouldn't bother smoking him off. You don't generally want to throw smokes like, so say you think there's a guy here, you don't generally want to throw smoke on him because he can then go either side of this smoke. He could stay in it, he could come out the back, he could go to the right, he could go to the left. He can use this smoke to his advantage. Um, and it's really difficult to deal with him. You're gonna have to have like multiple people coming to deal with him because he could just pop in and out the smoke, and it's gonna be difficult. Generally, you want to use smokes in choke points, or if you're not using it in a choke point, you want to, like, say for example in mid, there's some nice smokes I like to use in mid. This isn't a choke point, but what you can do, you can put two down, you can put one here, and you can put one here, and you can see now we've actually created a wall of smoke, even though it's too big for one smoke. So this is how you can combine smokes and get your use out of them, make them useful. So T side, just remember you want to be blocking people off. You sort of want to restrict the ability to aid the guy on site. You want to try and single people out. So in Counter Strike, you generally want to be trying to take people on like one at a time. You never want to have, say, a guy over at headshot and a guy at heaven, and you don't want to like sort of peek it out here and try to go for the guy at headshot, because now you're fighting this guy, but this guy can also see you. So you'd probably like, take this guy on first. Then once you move on, you take this guy out. You want to be on one at a time, and obviously if you can smoke this guy off, then you don't even have to take him on at all, which is even better. Um, the aim in Counter Strike isn't to get all the kills; it's to get control of the bomb site, get the bomb down, and then from that point you're in a really advantageous position. The rest of the CTs are gonna have to come to you. You now hold like the ground that they need to come and get, so you can literally just hold here and wait until people walk into your crosshair. It's a lot easier to do than having to go look for them and kill them. So hopefully that clears things up a little bit on T side. I know I haven't gone super in depth on that, but I don't want to make this video too long. So we'll just quickly look at CT side. So what can CTs do to stop a push and to be useful with their smokes? So you got to think about on T side, for example, you've got to think about what he's going to want to do, what the T's are going to want to do. So if everyone just funnels through here, everyone's coming through the same door, they can all die. So what T's like to do is they like to smoke this doorway here, and then get across into checkers. And now you've got this doorway, and then when this smoke clears, you've got this doorway. So now you've got two places to attack from. And if you're going to throw the correct smoke sight up in heaven and CT, you've only got one guy on site probably. So this one guy has to watch two angles, and he's almost like guaranteed to die at this point. That's really difficult to do. So as a CT, what you've got to think about is, if they're wanting to throw that smoke to get across, what can I do to stop this? So what you can do is you can throw this smoke right here. So just aim at the sign, run forward, and throw. Now what this does is it blocks off sort of the funnel, but at a smaller point, so it blocks it off further back. Now if they throw the smoke here, and you've got a player over in checkers, like sometimes you will, you can still use this smoke to your advantage. So if we've got a smoke down here, you probably want it to go a little bit deeper as well. You don't want it to be here. You probably want it to go like even a little bit further than that. But see, you've got that smoke down. You've also got this one down. You can actually see here, look, and you can watch to see if people are pushing this smoke, and particularly this corner here, people like to push. So, admittedly, they could. This is why the smoke should go deeper. So if the smoke goes somewhere over there, it's even better. You can see a lot better now. But they could push through the side over here and then like sneak behind the smoke and push it into the site. Now, if they do that, you're gonna hope that the other guy on site sees this. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna watch to the left. So you're gonna watch like. You're gonna watch this side, make sure they don't push here, and try and get some easy kills. So the mistake I see on Cache, really commonly, is CTs will think, right, the T is gonna try and come through this doorway. Let's try smoke off this doorway. Now this smoke here is a T smoke. This is not a CT smoke. Don't throw this on CT side. If you throw this, they now get free access to get into checkers, and now you've got these two angles to worry about, which you shouldn't be letting them get. This is definitely not a good smoke to throw on CT side. This is a T side smoke. I see this all the time, even at my rank, even at like LE and LEM rank. I see this on ESEA. People do this all the time. It's a terrible CT smoke. You've got to think about what your opponent's going to want to do and what that smoke's going to accomplish. So if that smoke's down, it doesn't actually stop T's from pushing over here because it doesn't form a choke here like the other one does. It only forms a choke if they're going to try and push through this doorway, but because they've got access to another doorway, there's no reason for them to do that. They can just run around and take here. So I can't really get the idea of why you want to do that, but it's never a good thing, trust me. You need to think about your smokes, you need to think about where are you going to block off, and if you block there off, what are the T's then going to do in reaction to that? So smoke should be used to funnel people, they should be used to block off vision, and they should be used to give you an advantage when the push comes. So keep an eye on the time, like if there's 30 seconds left in the round and nobody's executed yet, make sure if you've got a smoke you through it, make sure it goes over here. And now, if they're planning on hitting B, they've got to push that smoke. They're not going to have time if they wait for that smoke to finish. So you can just watch the edge of this smoke and just spray them down as they come through. If we look at a site now, common smoke you're going to throw on CT side goes in this doorway here. And again, you can see in this doorway, they're going to have to run through it. So if they do run through it, you get the advantage, and if they don't, then you buy in time. That's what your smokes are for on CT side. They're just to delay, to buy your team time. And then when the end of the round comes, if the T's haven't executed yet, they're going to have to rush. They're not going to get time to set up all the grenades they want. They're not going to get time to save. They realise you've stacked the site. They're not going to get time to rotate back and go B. It's a lot about playing the clock with smokes. And this is why I think smoke's probably the most important grenade in the game. A lot of positions in the game can't be taken without smokes. So for example, pushing out this mid door is suicide unless you've got smokes down. You are definitely going to die if you push out that mid door and they've got a mid player. So some nice smokes for this. You could throw this one and this one. And you can see when these are down, people can't see you. So nobody playing over here can see through them. That's a good use of smoke. It gives you position. It gives you like a tactical advantage to take out mid. You can get players over there, players down here. You can have players on boost. You can help control a mid. So yeah, hopefully you understand a little bit better how to use smokes. Obviously there's a lot of cases. I can't go through every case of when and when you shouldn't use smokes. But just in general, if you're on CT side, make sure you're not hindering your team at all. This smoke right here hinders your team because it's quite easy to hold this angle right here, or at least it's quite safe. You can get a couple of like free shots off here, but if there's a smoke down there, this angle is suddenly really hard to hold because not only do you have to watch the smoke and you've got to watch this whole like area of where they could push through, you've now got to watch this doorway as well. So you're just making more work for your teammates if you're throwing the smoke. You always want to try and get the teas to funnel into one place. So maybe a better smoke would be the deep one I showed, or maybe you would want to just hold off on your smoke, wait till you hear noise. There's a lot of different things you can do. You can also use your smokes, like, you could wait till later in the round and then you could block off both doorways. This might be a thing. That one went a little bit wrong, but you could block off that doorway, and now people are going to have to push smokes, and you could have like one of you on the site watch this one of you on the site watch this one. I still probably wouldn't recommend this. Them smokes are also not deep enough, but yeah, just be careful with your smokes. I see them misused a lot of the time. I see here main in particular, people that don't know how to smoke it will quite often just, they'll throw one that goes like too short, so it'll go something like this. If this goes short, no, a little bit, but basically they throw smokes that go too short, so like something like this. And then what that means is the teas that are in here, when this first one clears, so the teas that are in here, they get a chance to look through the gaps in the side, like they get a chance to look through these gaps in the side. They get a chance to, to push out here quite safely. You can see like there's only really that gap, and people aren't gonna be watching this if they think it's smoked off. You can push up here. You can check the rafters, and now suddenly you've got teas in places where you wouldn't be expecting them, all because a smoke messed up. It also, if the smoke misses completely and goes way too early, you can get out to forklift. And obviously this guy over here, he might think it's smoked off. I mean, you can see a gap here, but quite often I see people not expect the smoke's missed, even though it's quite obvious where it's missed. So yeah, just be careful. Make sure if you're going to throw your smoke in main, make sure it does go in. Same goes for anywhere else on the map. Make sure if you're trying to throw smokes places, make sure they don't land too short. If they land too short, more often than not, it just helps the teas rather than hinders them, and it just makes it really difficult to hold. So yeah, that's probably going to be it for this video. It's probably been a long one. There's a lot to go through with smokes, but hopefully this is a good beginner tutorial for any of you looking at how to use smokes. Generally, you just want to funnel teas through choke points if you're a CT, and if you're a T, it's all about getting space. You want to be trying to smoke like way out in front of where you're trying to go, just so you can gain more ground. So you can push out here without having to deal with these positions. You can get out here and now you've got more ground. When these smokes wear down, you can push a little bit further. It's just a battle of territory really, using smokes to try and get in ground and control the flow of the teas. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you like this video, leave a like. If you want to see more of this sort of stuff, if you want to get better at Counter-Strike, then subscribe. I'll be making more videos on how to use flashes, how to use Molotovs, and how to use HEs. So yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.